we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our second video, second edition of, the name is He Said, She Said.
We said.
She said, he said. He said. You guys can say it whichever way you want, but it's what we said. We coming together to talk.
Most definitely. All
right. So, y'all know Des. It's me, Kat. First and foremost, today we are filming this episode. The day is, what's today's day? Des, what's today's day?
It's Wednesday, June 24th.
24th, that's right. Which means yesterday was New York's primary election. And we just want to take a moment to congratulate Jamal Bowman on becoming the congressman for the 16th district, which is the Bronx, Mount Vernon, and White Plains. Hard fought battle. And we did it. We're talking about social change out here. And we really, really did it. The person that he took out of office was Elliot Engel. I think his first name is Elliot, but I can't even be bothered with his first name because if you guys are aware, he's the person who showed up in the middle of the Black Lives Matters protest and basically said that he was only there because he had a primary this year and he wanted to make sure he showed face. So I'm happy we all showed face on election day and we all came to let him know that that is simply not enough. He also held the office for 31 years. He was endorsed by Hillary Clinton and the Democratic establishment. Just to drop some tea, because those be some of y'all faves. But Jamal Bowman was endorsed by Bernie Sanders. He was endorsed by AOC. He was endorsed by Elizabeth Warren. So he was definitely endorsed by progressive politicians who were looking to better us as a community. And I'm really, really happy for his win. Me and my mom went out. I came to my mom's house at like 5:30 in the morning and we went to vote at 6 a.m. We were done by like 6:13 and we got out of there. So it was really, really wonderful. And congratulations, Mr. Bowman.
People usually clap, but since he's black, I'm going to raise a fist to the brother man.
Okay.
And hope you do what we need you to do.
We're going to hold you accountable, sir.
So
we are now paying attention.
You to be who you said you're going to be.
All right. So we're going to get into a few topics today. Des said that we should definitely speak about things that we are passionate about, and he is absolutely right, because I think that's what's going to draw the best conversation. So I came here today with a lot on my mind about Karens in our society and our community policing of Karens. So I think this conversation might go a few different directions, but we're just going to get right into it. So how do you feel about Karens and policing in our communities so far?
See, I feel it's about time in a way. It's for us to give them a little bit of what that we gotten throughout the years, even though they can't get nowhere close to what things and conditions that we've been under for our time on this earth. It's like since the beginning, we've been held down by. It might have not been Karen, but it was Ken.
Yeah, that's what they call him, Ken, right?
It's Ken or Karen.
They've been lying on us for years,
what I mean?
too.
We've been lied on forever. Even they put it in movies, shows, but it's real life. Like, they've been lying. Emmett Till, all of these black people have been tortured, murdered, and literally destroyed by Karens throughout history, right? And what we are doing out here in a time where we're getting killed because Karens are calling the police or Kens or whatever, is letting them know that you just can't do that because I'm black anymore. Now, you're going to have to feel what it feels like to be uncomfortable because you're living. You understand? So now a Karen or a Ken, whoever you are, you're going to have to be on watchful guard, because it's like now it's time for us to be in a position where they have to feel like they can't just do whatever they want.
Big facts. And I think it's about time. I definitely think it's about time. And just for a little bit of context, the word Karen has basically come from white women who call the police for, I guess, baseless reasons against black people or minorities in general. I'm sure you guys have seen the videos circulating online. And the reason I feel passionate about it is because I'm trying to figure out where we draw the line. Because I'm watching the videos and I'm starting to see some of the interactions, and it's a bit problematic. It's coming off a bit problematic because definitely what happened with Amy Cooper in Central Park and the concept of a white woman calling the police and saying she's being threatened by a black man, I don't even think we took enough time to understand the full scope of it, because the incident that happened with George Floyd happened so quickly after. But like, when I think about the video that I watched with Amy Cooper and the statement that she made, I'm in Central Park and I'm being threatened or attacked by a black man. Her statement literally put every single black man in Central Park in danger. Okay. She didn't give any descriptors. She didn't say he's wearing a red shirt. She didn't say he had on glasses. She didn't say he was an older man. All she said was black man. So if the police came into the park and saw any black man, she created open season. And I think that's the visceral part of why we got to this Karen conversation. So yeah, I definitely agree. When we have those moments, it's important to be recording and be vigilant. But back to that line I was talking about, where do we draw it? Because I watched a video the other day and there was a woman sitting in her car. I guess she was waiting for, I think her man or her brother. It was a male. She was waiting for a male, and an older white woman came to the car and you know, said to her, you know, I've seen that you've had your car on for a while. Do you mind turning off the engine, because it's not good for the planet? And the woman's response was just like, get out of here, Karen. Don't nobody want to talk to you about that, Karen. And, you know, she was just so quick to make it a Karen situation. And I guess to me, when I was watching it, it was concerning to me because that's true. You're not supposed to leave your engine running for more than 3 minutes, because it does leave fuel emissions, which is not good for the planet. So if us as human citizens are checking one another, when someone comes to speak to you about something like that, I don't know. I don't see that as a Karen moment. And if we qualify that as a Karen moment, are we going down like this slippery slope? So that's I guess what's becoming concerning to me. Like, where do we draw the line?
All right. This drawing the line only applies to black people. Because for any other culture, there's no such thing as a line. Because they've been habitual line crossing since history started, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So when it comes to the emotion of the world, when a white person comes and tells you to do anything nowadays, it's automatic defensive. I don't care if it's yo, you're blocking this parking lot or whatever, the entrance to this parking lot or something like that, and you know it's wrong. But since it's Karen, it's gonna be like, yo, it's because I'm black.
Yes.
Just because it's Karen. Because if a black person told you, there'd be an argument, but it would be no real disrespect in that way. And then there's going to be a video that goes viral about Karen.
I feel like, but that's what's making it problematic. That's what's making the entire situation problematic, because if we're saying every time a white person approaches us, we feel like it's because we're black, then when are we going to start being one, like as a community of people? Like, what are the rules? I think if you see a white person actively trying to lie, or you see a white person using like active aggressive racial slurs, those are the things that we should definitely jump on. But it can't be everything. It can't be every single time a white person upsets you or a white woman upsets you, she becomes a Karen. Because I believe that they're white people, and then there are people who happen to be white. Like, they didn't sign up for this. Of course, the system is what it is, and people have to take accountability that the system does benefit white people as a whole, the entire community. But sometimes when a white person is talking to you, it's not because you're a black person. It's because you're two people and you're attempting to have that communication. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm always trying to find some type of recourse where we can all find space to live and exist. And two wrongs don't make a right. And I believe that we should be working towards our greater angels. And I think that's what black people do innately, naturally. Like, we're always trying to see the good. We're always willing to accept the apology. We're always willing to move forward and even go as far as like turning the cheek and praying for you and giving it to God. So yeah, I agree with Des. It's a long time coming, and there's a lot of hurt there, but two wrongs don't make a right. And if we're talking about creating a society that we can all move forward together in, we still have to be careful about the way we treat each other, I think.
When it comes to that, you got to be in a comfortable space with people. When it's an uncomfortable space, you're not going to know how to react to certain things. You're just going to go off the emotion that's already built from your prior experience. So until we can get in a comfortable space with each other, there's going to be a lot more Karens. Because we're not going to feel comfortable to live unless we have the power to do something about somebody trying to stop us from doing natural things.
And live freely.
Yeah.
Like, just be in this life.
So until we can live, nobody's going to rest until we rest properly. That's what it is, basically.
Yeah. I mean, yes, no, you're right. You're right. So I want to get into this thing that we saw in the documentary about the way white people view black people. And I mean, one person said it in the documentary that I was watching, but I felt like it was really, really telling. It caught me off guard when they said it, but it really opened up my eyes to, I think, the conditioning white people have had historically towards black people. And basically, in the interview, it was a black man interviewing a white man, and they were talking about, working towards civil rights for black people. And the white man basically pleaded to him, like, you have to understand, white people just recently started seeing black people as human beings. I'm sorry to laugh because it was just so it was so obscene. He said white people just started seeing black people as human beings. So the person interviewing him, like, interjecting, he said, wait, so if you guys just started seeing black people as human beings, what did you see black people as before this? And his response was advanced pets.
Advanced pets, all right.
Pregnant pause, right? Like, how are we supposed to move forward? I don't know.
And that's just an honest answer.
The most honest answer.
From one person who just, I guess, gave us a gift of honesty that day. Because we would never know. We see how they look at us as lower beings, but as a whole animal?
I don't even know. It kind of almost feels worse than an animal, because I feel like
dogs more than
they
us.
like dogs. They spare their dogs. We live in a country where when you go to the gun range and you're shooting at the target is a human form. If you ever went to the gun range and tried to shoot at a form of a dog, they would run you out of that gun range. Yeah. So it's this really, really strange dichotomy with the relationship that white people have had through history with black people. It's almost like if you find a black person that knows how to do math, like, look at that exceptional Negro.
It's because of the transition of slavery. The way they made the transitions to slavery, they never looked at us as a human. No matter what rights we accumulated or, civil things that we got accomplished, we never became human in the eyes of the oppressors. Or else we wouldn't be treated like this, or they couldn't stand to see certain things happen to us.
It's inhumane. It's inhumane what's happening. And like I said, I came here today to try and speak to our better angels, but it's really, really hard to speak to that because there's just so much data, there's so much proof. I watched another video where the police came and they tried to arrest a white woman because she was smoking weed, and she was like, no, it wasn't me, it was some black dude that was there. He just walked off into the woods. It was a black dude. And the police officer was like, ma'am, you smell like weed. And she was like, why are you doing this? This is reverse discrimination because I'm a white woman in a black neighborhood. And the whole thing is just confusing.
That's why we have Karens. But all right, I'm gonna jump on the nice side for a second.
So I don't know how to help y'all, Karen.
I'm gonna jump on. I do, but I just don't want us to get into a place where we become the people crying wolf. Because we feel like we got so much bad happen to us. I don't want us to falsely or just violate people for being human also.
Big facts.
Because they're not all Karens. We're gonna say they're not all Karens. And
for now, everybody's being treated like a Karen?
Because of the anger and emotion of the country. You got to understand that people don't want to hear right. They want to hear what's just to us right now. And what's just to us is we want revenge and payback, literally.
And it's what we're getting. Because if we're being honest, what happens once you're labeled a Karen? It's like under an hour, the company puts up a post saying this person no longer works for us.
Yeah, your life is on the ground.
Your
you
life
might be breathing still, but
you're done. I saw a video of guys, I've watched a lot of these Karen videos. I'm like all the way in. It's like a dumpster fire. I can't look away. I watched this other video of the Karen. The guy chased her down to her house. I think his name was Carlos. And he was recording her and she was just completely hysterical, covering her face. She's like, don't put my face on the camera. You're going to ruin my life. Like, and it's that simple. It's black and white. Once you're labeled Karen, it's a dub for you. Like, so we don't want to turn into the population of people who are crying wolf, because the power, this random power behind the word, we'll lose it if we abuse it. I don't think
Spider-Man, Uncle Ben. With great power comes great responsibility. Yeah.
Did you say Uncle Ben?
Yeah, Uncle Ben. His name's Uncle Ben.
Okay.
Just put a black face on him and listen to that man. Because we got to be responsible with the power that we gain. It's coming at a fast pace, and we never had it before. So we're going to use it as we see fit. Just make sure that get a little bit out your system. I can't say nothing. Get a little bit out your system, but at the end of the day, use it productively.
They passed laws, though. They passed laws. They passed that Amy Cooper law. And now if you call 911 and it ends up being something that was like racial, or you were being discriminatory in your call, there are repercussions. There's a recourse to be taken now for something like that. And I think that's what we're asking for. So if we get to a place as a country where it's like those behaviors, there's legislation in place that makes it so those behaviors can't exist anymore, then we'll probably have that black and white. But right now that we're in the gray area, black people, right now that we're in the gray area, I just want to make sure that we're using and utilizing this time, this opportunity, and this experience well. We just don't want to lose it. We're on a good track.
Oh, definitely. But if you justly see a Karen out there, spot them out.
Call them out.
But think about it, though. If you were in the same position, would you act the way they act? If not,
that's good.
Karen's there.
That's good. That's a good
way
to think about it.
You got to keep human emotions in consideration also, because you don't want to be the one calling out somebody for no reason and getting them into some problems.
Because those videos will turn on you. That's a big fact. Those videos will turn on you. The video I spoke about earlier with the woman with the fuel emissions, when I went into the comments, there were a comfortable amount of people that were like, wait, time out though, but you're not supposed to leave your engine running. Like, no, that's actually bad for the environment. So, like, it will come back to bite you in the butt. Don't say, he said, she said, Captain and Des. Don't say nobody said anything to you. Yeah. It's a slippery slope. We've all seen it happen on the other side. So let's just be mindful. Let's be wise with the decisions that we're making.
Yeah, most definitely.
So next topic of discussion, millennials, we're going to have a conversation. We need to have a conversation, an honest conversation with one another. So speaking about the nature of affairs and the things that are happening in our country right now, a lot of people are becoming more involved. People are speaking out more, they're advocating, they're learning the history, especially Black history, our political history. They're asserting themselves by going out to vote. They're creating troll campaigns against Donald Trump to make sure his rallies aren't as full as they usually are. So as I'm watching in our society, I feel like I'm seeing the generations before and after millennials being the ones who are more comfortable speaking about the social changes that are necessary in our society. So I just want to get into a few dynamics about us, me, Des. Anybody within the age of 25 to 38 years old. I believe millennials are starting from 1981 to like 1995 or 6. So I guess I'll start with Des. Des, did you vote? Des, did you vote?
I didn't vote, but I know you're going to kill me. I get crucified for this because she was kind of drilling me about voting this whole time. And don't be like me. Be better than me.
What are the reasons in your past that have made you feel like what has stopped you from feeling eager about going out to vote?
I guess society and how the way we think. It's always been told to you that voting is powerless. And I wasn't informed. I was always waiting. If anything, when I wanted to vote, it was for Barack. And that's the ones I would wait for to vote for anyway. I never knew about the voting for assemblymen and governor. I never did none of that. I was just waiting for that every 4 years. And that every 4 years, as I grew up, I learned certain things that made me like distrustful. So then voting was like, why would I even waste my time going to a ballot when I believed that it didn't matter?
I think that ties into this like weird, I call it a rumor, this really weird rumor that started amongst the Black culture where people are like, my vote don't even count, especially being in New York. You know, New York bleeds blue. We're Democrat. So like when Hillary Clinton was running for president with Donald Trump, you know, so many people were like, I'm not participating. I don't like either one of them. And back then I was here for the Hillary. I was here for the Democrat. I watched a lot of MSNBC and CNN back then. Please forgive me. But I was down for the cause. And I'm speaking to my friends and I'm like, we have to vote. And I feel like the conversation was always either, politics, I don't really be getting into that. People get real sensitive about politics, I don't talk about it. Or the conversation will be like, I don't vote because my vote doesn't count. It doesn't matter. No one cares. And it's so not true. Like, it's so not true. And if you want to know when I found out it wasn't true, is when I saw the effects of the Tea Party in America. We voted Barack Obama in as our first president. And the equal and rapid response was every white person in America got together and made sure they showed up for the primary 2 years later. And when Barack Obama went in, I believe we had the Senate, we had Congress, we had the presidency. I can't really speak to the Supreme Court. I think it was a bit even back then, but the Supreme Court goes a bit over my head. That's fine. But we had power. And that's when Barack Obama passed legislation for Obamacare. That's when he started passing legislation for LGBTQ rights and the DACA. All of those things happened in his first term. 2 years later, the Tea Party showed up and they voted everybody out. Obama lost the Senate. He lost the Congress. Because of the way he lost the Senate and the Congress, he wasn't even able to appoint Supreme Court judges anymore. And when I saw the power and the efficacy in their vote, so that would be 2010. 2010 is when I found out, like, oh, voting counts. It's real. It makes a difference. And not like, let's all go vote for the first black president. Like, no, let's go vote in our local elections. Let's see who's giving the money to our schools, who's making sure our roads are clean, who is ensuring jobs for this state or this region. So I've always personally believed that voting mattered, it's important, but I even became demoralized because I started to see everyone around me like, I'm not voting, that doesn't matter, it doesn't count. So I partially felt that way, but I move with my mother when it comes to politics, so mostly I still voted. Now, I want to take it a different direction because I'm seeing activities happening from the other generations. And I guess they would call our generation the middle children. We're the middle child. We kind of sit between the boomers and Gen X and Gen Z that's coming behind us and really mastering technology and using it as a tool versus us using it as a novelty. So I guess I want Des to speak to it a little bit. What is with the lack of accountability in our group? Like, where do you feel like the disconnect happened?
Early on, I think millennials growing up, we like you said, we felt that loss of power. We never felt empowered growing up, period. That's what it is. We always felt like powerless to the people behind us, and we didn't know we controlled the people in front of us by our actions now. So everything going on with us, we lived in the now. We never looked forward. We felt everything that was happening and felt that we couldn't do nothing about what's happening and didn't push forward to not make it happen in the future for everybody else. That's what happened with our generation, and it's just a lot of propaganda and stuff like that that put a lot of ideals and thoughts in our head that got us to that point. And I'm just glad Gen Z didn't really conform to that idea and follow suit and be as complacent as even me. Like, look, I didn't vote yesterday. Even me, like, but I know those Gen Z, they're out there and they're informed and they're going from level to level until they reach presidency to vote for somebody, instead of just waiting for presidency where it doesn't really count because it's an electoral vote that gets the president in office, which is by the popular vote, but that's voted in by the people that you put in office locally.
Yeah.
So your local representation is who votes into president for your state. So those people that you vote for throughout until the presidency, those are the people that gives us our power. That gives us all our power, and we never really knew that until actually these Gen Zs.
Like,
they're breaking it open for us.
Bruh, hold on. I don't know if you guys know about what Gen Z did, and maybe you don't, because like I said, my generation has a really good habit of not knowing about anything going on unless it's about you. They call us the generation of me. All we care about is us, our id, ourselves. We looking at people to the left and right, it's like, ooh, child, as long as I'm getting my check, we can't be bothered. And I think that's a part of social conditioning, because even me, I'll be at work and I'll see things that are happening that are wrong, and after a while you tell yourself it's not even worth the trouble, so you move on. But no, not Gen Z, not my babies. Let me tell you what these children did. Donald Trump was holding his rally in Tulsa. He was going to do it on Juneteenth, but he acted like he didn't never know about what Juneteenth was, so he moved it to the next day. Weird flex. And the Gen Z kids decided to start requesting tickets for his rally. They were like, they were on TikTok like, I just requested 6 tickets for me and my friends that aren't going. I just requested 2 tickets. And I saw that after Gen Z started doing it, the K-pop kids who are Gen Z as well, the ones who like Korean music, they started doing it as well. And then because K-pop is so pro Black Lives Matter, the message moved on into Black Lives Matter. And then a lot of people that were part of Black Lives, I requested 6 tickets for me and my friends. But I was following. Like, I did it because I saw them do it. So, we have a bad habit of punching down. And I think that's what really may have begun the neutering, I guess, of our generation. Because the generation before us really had us convinced that we can't make any changes. Our parents are like, oh, no, this is what politics is. Leave it alone. There's no point. Oh, no, you guys don't know what you're talking about. So, yeah. And then don't forget, people got lucky, but don't forget that in 2008, the financial crash, the economic crisis that we went through, it digressed us, an entire generation. There are tons of 30-year-olds that still haven't bought houses. They still haven't gotten married. They're still not having children. And it's because we don't feel like we are where we are supposed to be economically. But we don't have power. We don't. Let me kick some facts to y'all that maybe you guys don't know. The baby boomers in Generation X, they still have pension plans. They still work at jobs that have unions. Most of their jobs have the type of unions that ensure full health coverage for them. So the way that our condition is right now, we've basically gotten this condition while they're grandfathered in to their very comfortable situation. So it's really, really hard to convince the generation ahead of us that something is wrong with our condition right now, because they're not experiencing our condition. Do you understand that people who are like 55 to 60 years old, most of them have been working at their jobs for like 20 to 25 years. I haven't worked at any job more than 3 years of my life, and I'm 30. And that's like on average for us millennials. So I'm not building any capital as far as my workplace. But it's because those things are not there. We're not incentivized. They got rid of unions and collective bargaining. It's called at-will employment, which means you can quit at any time and they can fire you at any time. And if any time you get in trouble, you don't have anybody to represent you. It's basically you taking on the machine. It's you versus the machine, and you always lose. So there's so many different things that have happened to us, especially in the last 10 years, where it just feels like we can't get anything right.
Not to cut you off, but the reason why we lose is the same way you express your thought. You versus the machine instead of us versus the machine.
And if it's a me generation,
that goes right back to that.
There's no way we're going to be able to move forward. That is absolutely right. So, I wanted to talk about this subject matter because I feel like it's a very honest conversation we need to have with ourselves. When I went out to vote yesterday, I was on my feed. I was scrolling. I was looking for I voted stickers. And I will say now, this is like, I'll call it a 10,000% increase from what I've seen in the past. Nobody was going to vote. Yesterday, I saw a lot of people, women. I saw a lot of my ladies going out to vote. I was very proud of us. I saw men too, but a lot of ladies. But, so yeah. It was still younger people though. I'm not gonna hold you up. It was still people like 25, 28, 27, like 22, 19, 18, younger. It wasn't 30s, it wasn't 32, it wasn't giving me 35 fish. I wasn't getting people who were over 32 that were going to vote. So we just have to do better.
Well, Gen Z has a great advantage over us.
What advantage do you think they have?
Information at their fingertips.
We have information at our fingertips too.
We didn't have it.
But we treated it like a novelty.
But
we out here putting up mad old school music videos, doing challenges and shit. Instead of really figuring out how to troll Donald Trump. We could have trolled. Why didn't we troll Donald Trump, y'all? That was the most GOAT move I've ever seen, and it wasn't even us. I'm pissed. I'm taking it personally.
They don't have the fire. We don't have the fire like that to go against the norm of society. I don't know where it went, but it looked like it skipped us and went straight to Gen Z.
It might have been that economic crash. I really, really feel it. That's why they were doing that Occupy Wall Street shit. So they were really sleeping outside on Wall Street. Like people were going hard for the cause, but we got smacked down. You know who smacked us down? The administration. You know what years that happened? 2008 to 2016. So a lot of the times when I talk about Donald Trump, I always say Donald Trump is not the problem. He's the symptom of a greater disease. And the disease is complacency.
Yes.
We only absorb things for entertainment. We're not using the tools that are being given to us. So Des is right. Gen Z has information, but they don't have any information we didn't have. They just chose to use it. So we have to use the information. We have to be involved. We have to have these conversations like, all right, if you have a long day and you're like, I don't want to get into it right now, I want to talk about it later, I can understand that. But I don't have respect. I don't have a lot of respect for people who are of our age, at our stage, with this wage, that thinks there's nothing to talk about. We got to vote.
I got you.
He's a Des, and I'm going to vote next time.
Next time. No, yeah. I don't want to hear this again. And I believe this is a positive motivation, though.
Yeah.
And this, no lie, this is what a black woman provides. The motivation that usually doesn't come from just being here, living throughout your life. So, another thing I do want to speak of when it comes to the generations and how they connect to each other is that they don't. It used to be, I guess back in the day, it used to be a sort of connection where everybody felt like family. That they can come to
It takes a village.
That I never hear that anymore. Right now, it just takes one person, and that's you now. You know what I mean? It takes a village to raise a child, because I grew up on that, well, for as long as I could. Because my father used to work late nights and things like that, and I used to try to leave the house at a bad time, and the people across the street, where are you going? You need to go back in your house. You know what time it is? Your father's not home. I know he ain't home, but you know what I'm saying? We don't have enough of that anymore. You don't even feel comfortable going to your neighbor and asking them to borrow food because you're hungry. You know what I'm saying? You'd rather go rob somebody than ask for help from somebody that you know. That's how bad we are. You know what I mean? And we're translating all this negative vibe to the next generation. I'm just so glad that they don't receive it as much as we did, because they're kind of more close together than us.
Yeah, and they're not with the shits. I don't know if you hear them, but they're calling their parents racist.
Yes,
they're calling their grandparents racist. They're getting kicked out
their house.
Yo, white kids are losing their collective shit on TikTok, and it is the most entertaining thing to watch. But I'm like proud. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the way they're taking care of the Latino community, the LGBTQ community, the black community, their community, the older community. Like, they want universal basic income. They want Medicare for all. They want to get rid of guns so we don't have these active shooters in our school. They want to defund the police, and they're not being quiet about it. We have no right to the silence that we've been producing for all these years. Like, it's not okay.
What I suggest is, if you're not on this level of thinking, you need to find you a Generation Z and connect with them and help them out. Because they might not have the know-how completely. Because they know how to start it, but you may have some information to help them out. or you might learn something from them.
Matter of fact, you could give them your testimony. You can tell them maybe you were one of those people who did try something when you were younger and you felt like society kicked back or pushed back on you. And now you're looking at it like, if I was younger, maybe I would have done it this way. They ready. They're available. They want to have these conversations, and I want us to want to have those conversations as well. So.
And I feel like if we turn the hood back to a neighborhood, there will be a lot more conversations had, and we could communicate and get more done.
I miss the neighborhood.
I do too.
I miss Double Dutch.
Oh man.
I miss Manhunt.
I miss
block parties. I miss the fire hydrant open, playing with the water outside.
Playing
like
with
I don't
strangers.
know. Maybe I'm romanticizing it because TikTokers would rather be on their cell phones and play video games. So I don't know if we went back outside. I don't know if they come with us, but yeah. We really had a oneness before, and I miss it. I'm very nostalgic about it. So I want us to just do a better job. That's my take.
Yeah, we have the power. If we didn't have power before, mentally, in our mind, we know we do now. And the world's shaped from everything that we do or we don't do. So let's make it a good choice. And hold down the Generation Z. I'm with y'all.
Okay. That was a dope combo. We decided we want to throw in a lot of humming. We decided that we want to throw in. I don't like saying It's like a loss of thought. I don't know. We decided we wanted to throw in a little segment called "Aliens Pretending to Be Humans." This one is really fun to me because there's a statistic that says 1 in 5 Americans believe that there are aliens living amongst us. And child, I might be that 1 in 5 because I keep running into people doing the craziest things. So I'm just gonna give you like 2 quick stories. 2 quick stories of aliens pretending to be human. So one morning I was on my way to work and I went to grab an iced coffee. So I go to the coffee shop and I get a black iced coffee and I go to get a straw. But when I go to get a straw, I observe that there's an older guy standing next to me and he has an iced coffee too. But he takes the straw, I have a cup. He takes the straw and he puts it inside the cup. Then, excuse me. Then he takes a sweetener packet and tries to pour the sweetener into the cup through the straw. So I'm shocked. I'm in disbelief. I'm stuck now. I'm just watching him like, what the hell? So as he does it, all the sugar pours out of the cup onto the table everywhere. He picks up the cup. He dusts all the sugar off the table, puts the cup down, and gets another sweetener to start again, y'all. What? So that's my first example of an alien pretending to be a human.
It's an ambitious and determined alien right there.
The fuck is that? Somebody said, who was it you that said that he thought he was going to get it straight to the bottom of the cup?
I
said, no, it's going to float. There's still coffee in the straw. Like, what is happening?
I try to help him out.
Weird. Second time. So, your man's is in Little Caesar. And he orders a pizza. Full pizza pie. They give him the pizza pie. When he goes to exit the store, he carries the box of pizza out like this. Like a newspaper under his arm. Sir, the pizza is spilling! It's spilling down the side of the box. I said, nah. 1 in 5 people believe it because the other 4 people didn't see it yet. There are aliens amongst us.
Okay. That being said, I might be one of these aliens amongst us. Because I'll just say, because my mentality and certain things I explain to people, I'm not just saying some people. A lot of people that I come across and I explain certain things, not everything, they look at me like, what are you talking about? Where did you come to that conclusion from? And I'm looking at them like, how did you not understand if I broke it down to its completion? Like I was talking to, somebody, a child who doesn't know how to do anything. But then Catherine brought this to me.
So maybe
this alien living among us. I might be that 1 in 5. And I'm kind of good with that. I'm kind of good with that.
Universe thing happening.
Yeah, just like they put out that multiverse thing in your head. There's maybe some truth to that.
Let's
That
see.
along some lines that the
We're
universe is
not
colliding.
going to get into those conversations because people might not even value the opinion anymore. They're going to be like, oh, they losing it. But nah,
No.
y'all, keep an eye out for aliens pretending to be humans.
Yeah.
If you spot any,
Let us know.
let us know.
We want to hear the stories, and I'm sure
still
we'll have
tickled
some
by your
more.
mans that had the sugar packet. What, sir?
I was with him until she
Who
explained about
told
the
you
floating
that?
sugar.
All right, y'all. So that's us
Yeah.
for this week. Let us know what you think. We're going to be coming back with more.
If
More,
they don't
more,
beat
more.
me back up to where I came from, well, I'll be back for more with Catherine.
Nobody's beating me back up. If y'all don't kill me after this episode, I'll be back to shoot another episode. But you know, I'm always here for the smoke. Y'all stay good. Stay blessed.
And stay awake.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for taking time to sit down and listen to us talk today. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you like, people will see our video more. If you subscribe, they'll let you know when we're posting our newest information. And if you comment, we'll answer you back. This is definitely a community conversation. We want to grow as one. So
We're definitely here for you, and we don't like to just do all the talking. We want you to talk to us back, and maybe you might spark something that we need to talk about.
absolutely.
And we love audience participation. Plus, y'all community. We're trying to get that back.
Big facts. One love.
All day.